Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome to Adventures in History. Today's topic is Beautiful Flowers Poetic Tour. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. Romeo and Juliet, William Shakespeare. The Rose by Bette Midler. Some say love it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some say love it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. Some say love it is a hunger, an endless aching need. I say love it is a flower, and you its only seed. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance. It's the dream afraid of waking that never takes the chance. It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give, and the soul afraid of dying that never learns to live. When the night has been too lonely and the road has been too long, and you think that love is only for the lucky and the strong, just remember in the winter, far beneath the bitter snows, lies the seed that with the sun's love in the spring becomes the rose. Protea. The Protea is a South African flowering plant, also known as a sugar bush. In local tradition, the Protea flower represents change and hope. This flower was named in 1735 by Carl Linnaeus after the Greek god Proteus, who could change his form at will, because this flower has such a wide variety of forms. The Protea flower gives comfort to all, which is helpful as we endure life's storms. The Peony, some Japanese poems. About to bloom and exhale a rainbow, the peony. Busan. When the peonies bloomed, it seemed as though were no flowers around them. Kitsu. In the stillness between the arrival of guests, the peonies. By Busan. Inhale deeply. Peony season, like life itself, is fleeting, precious. By Katrina Kennison. The passion flower. Prized by the Cherokee Indians, abundant and lush, the passion flower is known not only for its beauty, but its medical properties as well. On vines reaching more than 30 feet high, the passion flower is believed to be named for the resemblance to the crown of thorns worn by Jesus. In earlier days, it was used to cure anxiety and hysteria. An excerpt from Charles Moore's poem, Where the Passion Flower Grows. Lay down on your pillow and turn the lights down low. Let me take you to the garden where the passion flower grows. Close your eyes and enter dreams as love's emotion sets the scene and filters through the garden where the passion flower grows. Chrysanthemum. The Last Chrysanthemum by Thomas Hardy. Why should this flower delay so long to show its tremulous plumes? Now is the time of plaintive robin song, when flowers are in their tombs. through the slow summer, when the sun called to each frond and whorl, that all he could for flowers was being done, why did it not uncurl? It must have felt that fervid call, although it took no heed, waking but now, when leaves like corpses fall, and saps all retrocede. Too late its beauty, lonely thing, the season's shine is spent. Nothing remains for it but shivering in tempest turbulent. Had it a reason for delay, dreaming it witlessness, that for a bloom so delicately gay winter would stay its stress? I talk as if the thing were born, with sense to work its mind. Yet it is but one mask of many worn by the great face behind. The Magnolia. Mississippi Magnolia by Patricia Neely Dorsey. Home is where the heart is, that's what they always say. Well, my heart is in Mississippi's, in the most profoundest way. It's who I am, it's what I like, it's everything to me. A Mississippi Magnolia girl is all I'll ever be. The Orchid. Love, like an orchid, is tender and precious. Neglected, it will wither and die, but well tended with nurturing dedication will blossom into a beautiful thing. From Jeremiah and in the Old Testament of the Bible. Cherry Blossom, A Day with Cherry Blossoms, a poem by Jez Burrell. A long array of cherry blossoms marching in the daylight are shimmering in white, pink, and fuchsia. And as they pass through where I stand, they stop to caress my open palms and whisper, I love you, while exuding scents that say, forget me not. The Anemone by The Anemone, poem by B.C. Koo for Vogue Korea.
Lovely dark anemone, you were the grande dame of the belle epoque, shining pure white and innocent, or deviously dark in evil purple, while we eagerly exchanged minimalism for rich, moody, and abundant decoration. We found ourselves falling for your eternal beauty.
The Lotus, a quote by Siddhartha Gautama, also known as Lord Buddha. As a lotus flower is born in water, grows in water, and rises out of water to stand above it unsoiled, so I, born in the world, raised in the world, having overcome the world, live unsoiled by the world.
The Iris, the regal queen. This is from the Bible. The iris is a regal queen, in flowing robe and crown. She rules and reigns in majesty, her eminence renowned. Wealth and riches are in her hand, for giving to the poor. She's firmly rooted in the truth, increasing more and more. In mansion fair or humble shack, she honors king or beggar. Able to endure great stress or lack, she rules and reigns forever. Clothed in glory, strength, and truth, she bows to only one, the King of kings and Lord of lords, the Father and the Son. From Psalms 112 and Proverbs 31, the Old Testament of the Bible. The Tulip. Tulips by V.W. Lechicott. In the garden, tulips grow, straight and golden in a row. Each one holds its empty cup, drinking rain and sunshine up. The Dahlia. Dahlias in Autumn by Jean Ackhead. The colors of the autumn, more vibrant in the rain. It warms my very heart and soul when dahlias bloom again. The Plumeria. Plumeria Blossom by Juan Olivares. Sweet-smelling, floating on the evening breeze, delightful, delicate, and made to please. Beauty of yonder flowering trees, heavenly colors give my heart ease. Plumeria blossoms, pink, yellow, and red, I'll pick them to have them by the side of my bed.
No rose in the world could ever compare to a Plumeria's scent, so heavenly fair. A beautiful woman with a flower in her hair. The Plumeria's blossom is the one that is there. A tropical treasure not widely known, that you need to possess for your very own. Don't take my word for it, sniff it yourself. The Plumeria's scent conquers anything else. The Camellia. Camellias by Linda Pastan. I dragged the lawn chair to the center of the new lawn, where you have warned it will ruin the delicate grass. From here I have a perfect view of the pink camellia, the one with rose-shaped flowers which you secretly think I have ignored. This is my camellia viewing platform. I tell you, remembering signposts in Japan. You look at the dark cave beneath the chair, where the grass will die in architectural stripes. We look at each other. This is one of the impasses a marriage must detour around or else crash into. Meanwhile, the camellia opens its flesh-colored petals with utter unself-consciousness, releasing its scent into the dangerous air. The Begonia. Begonia poem by Sue Shi. Wish to cherish spring every year, but spring departs without cherish. This year bitter rains again, 2 months of chills like autumn. Lie down to smell the begonia blossoms, snow and rouge petals, scattered, smeared by mud. The Daffodil. I wandered lonely as a cloud by William Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze, continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 I saw at a glance, tossing their heads in a sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not be but gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils. Hydrangea. Hydrangeas by Carl Sandburg. Dragoons, I tell you, the white hydrangeas turn rust and go soon. Already mid-September, a line of brown runs over them. One sunset after another tracks the faces, the petals. Waiting they look over the fence, for what way they go. Stargazer Lily. Stargazer Lily poem by Elie Lejeune. Petals speckled as dry rain of brown, fragrant, heady, drowning the senses. Fuchsia loveliness, the garden's crown. Glorious contrast along the white fence. Here on my desk you are my inspire. Picked you this morn, first lily to bloom. Color so vibrant, your petals of fire. Perfume of life has invaded this room. Wishing that I could keep you forever. A fairy perhaps, to magical dust you. Eternally bloom here, to leave me never. My muse everlasting, to inspire me anew. The Pansy by Edith Hayes from the 1910 book The Sun's Babies. Pansy so velvety, pansy so wide, pansy with heart of gold. How I wish I could stay outside till I saw your petals unfold. When do you open them, pansy so blue? I watch but never see. One day there's a bud, the next there's you. You are such a puzzle to me. Do you open them softly in the dark,
while stars watch overhead, or fling them wide with the morning lark before I am out of bed.
The Sunflower by Sunflower by William Blake. Ah, sunflower, weary of time, who countest the steps of the sun, seeking after that sweet golden clime, where the traveler's journey is done, where the youth pined away with desire, and the pale virgins shrouded in snow, arise from their graves and aspire, where my sunflower wishes to go.
The Lily, The Noble Nature by Ben Jonson.
It is not growing like a tree, in bulk doth make man better be, or standing long in oak 300 years, to fall at long last dry, bald, and sere. A lily of a day is fairer far in May. Although it fall and die that night, it was the plant and flower of light. In small proportions we just beauties see, and in short measures life made perfect be. This was a favorite poem of my sister Pamela. The Noble Nature by Ben Jonson. Gladiola. Mother's Gladiolas by Anne Bach. Mother's hands dig deep holes in soft brown earth, watering in the tender seedlings, teaching me of the promise of flowers. She was quiet about her thoughts and beliefs, but I think she always believed in the promise of flowers. When we moved to the old house on top of the hill, next to the gladiola field, she was even more quiet. She planted no flowers there, but the man who picked the gladiolas brought her a big bunch, in all different colors every week. I think she still believed in flowers a year later when we moved to a rural farmhouse in New Jersey. She planted pansies all around the old tree. Before the long days when she took to her bed, I must have been born from her love of flowers. I have planted them wherever I have lived, looking for dark, rich soil and a promise of flowers. The Carnation. Red Carnations by Ella Wheeler Wilcox.
One time Arcadi's fair bowers, there met a bright immortal band. To choose their emblems from the flowers, they made an Eden of that land. Sweet Constancy with eyes of hope strayed down the garden path alone, and gathered sprays of heliotrope to place in clusters at her zone. True friendship plucked the ivy grain, forever fresh, forever fair. Inconstancy with flippant mien, the fading primrose chose to wear. One moment, Love the rose paused by, but Beauty picked it up for her hair. Love paced the garden with a sigh. He found no fitting emblem there. Then suddenly he saw a flame. A conflagration turned to bloom. It even put the rose to shame, both in its beauty and perfume. He watched it, and it did not fade. He plucked it, and it brighter grew. In cold or heat, all undismayed, it kept its fragrance and its hue. Here deathless love and passion sleep, he cried, embodied in this flower. This is the emblem I will keep. Love wore carnations from that hour. The Lilac. Ode to Lilacs by Marion, 2012. Lilac, lilac, purple are thy sweet, pretty blooms, beautiful to be on hats, lilac plumes. Lilac, lilac, sweet is thy perfume, thy petals were made on a fairy loom. Lilac, lilac, purple are thy sweet, pretty blooms. Lilac, lilac, thy sweet odor fills the room. Sweet Pea, A Child's Vision by Alfred Noyes, 1880 to 1958. Under the sweet peas I stood, and drew deep breaths, they smelt so good. Then with strange enchanted eyes I saw them change to butterflies. Higher than the skylark sings, I saw their fluttering crimson wings.
leave their garden trellis bare and fly into the upper air. Standing in an elfin trance, through the crowds I saw them glance. Then I stretched my hands up high and touched them in the distant sky. At once the colored wing came back from wandering in the zodiac. Under the sweet peas I stood and drew deep breaths, they smelt so good. Lavender, Lavender by Rose Hart. Ah, lavender, angels descend. My heart opens up into the essence of life. A breath, fresh floral notes, awakens my soul. I am calm and centered. I wave my aromatic wand. I wave it up to the heavens. Blissful renewal of indigo blue. Impatiens, Impatiens by Caroline Devonshire. Growing impatiens is a family tradition. Each spring I set out on a new expedition, traveling from nursery to find multicolored impatiens, no two of one kind. Although I become impatient planting in March, by June their blossoms flourish in a rainbow arch. Surrounding oak trees in fertile, shady place, impatiens arrested, impatiens I embrace. Armed with plant food I have nourished this vibrant crop. They bear seeds that take root now, their spread I can't stop. A full spectrum of blooms brings aesthetic pleasure. I view from my porch, feel blessed with nature's treasure. From radiant flowers I learn to be patient, knowing rewards take time when growing impatiens. The Geranium by Debbie Wrightstuff. Spoked a pedal wheel, diaphanous shades of red, membrane-like tissue, looks different from underneath. Do you look where others don't? Queen Anne's Lace. Queen Anne's Lace by William Carlos Williams. Her body is not so white as anemone petals, nor so smooth, nor so remote a thing. It is a field of the wild carrot taking the field by force. The grass does not raise above it. Here is no question of whiteness, white as can be, with a purple mole at the center of each flower. Each flower is a hand span of her whiteness. Wherever his hand has lain, there is a tiny purple blemish. Each part is a blossom under his touch, to which the fibers of her being stem one by one, each to its end, until the whole field is a white desire, empty a single stem, a cluster, flower by flower, a pious wish to whiteness gone over, or nothing. The Poinsettia, the legend of the Poinsettia from Mexico. Outside the lowly manger where slept the newborn king stood a sad and lonely child who had no gift to bring. An angel hovered o'er her, and in that star-bright night made a lovely pathway of flowers, green, red, and white. With joyous heart she gathered and brought them to the child. And lo, a radiance touched her when the holy baby smiled. Snapdragon, the Snapdragon Fairy by Cicely Mary Barker. Into the dragon's mouth he goes, never afraid is he. There's honey within him, he knows. Clever old bumblebee. The mouth snaps tight. He is lost to sight. How will he ever get out? He's doing it backwards nimbly too, though he is somewhat stout. Off to another mouth he goes, never a rest has he. He must fill his honey bag full. He knows, busy old bumblebee. And Snapdragon's name is only a game. It isn't as fierce as it sounds. The Snapdragon elf is pleased as punch when Bumblebee comes on his rounds. The Daisy, a poem from 1867 in My Pretty Flower Book. I'm a pretty little thing, always coming in the spring. In the meadow green I'm found, peeping just above the ground. And my stalk is covered flat with a white and yellow hat. Little children, when you pass lightly o'er the tender grass, skip about, but do not tread on my meek and lowly head. For I always seem to say, surely winter's gone away. The Bird of Paradise by Frangipani. I stand in elegant splendor of graceful forms and wondrous hues. I sway in mirthful grandeur, like heaven's birds and ocean's waves. I chase bountiful freedom, to do my heart's wish, follow its beats. I charm with luscious petals, an explosion of color, a breath of freshness. I feel the magical blend of mythical past with mesmeric future. I am the sensual embrace of true love and faith to my soulmate. The Anemone, an Anemone poem by Emily Dickinson. Summer for thee, grant I may be, when summer days are flown, thy music still, when whippoorwill and oriole are done. For thee to bloom I'll skip the tomb and roll my blossoms o'er. Pray gather me, anemone, thy flower forevermore. The Crocus, Spring Flowers, Crocus by Mary Havron.
Crocus flowers, daring tiny warriors, fighting their way up through the winter ice. Crocus, darling, early spring harbingers, promising days will soon be turning nice. Tiny crocus flowers grow in close groups, strength in number seeking, where winter snow still may lie, encircled encampment of floral troops. We march onward to spring. They raise this brave battle cry. Bold strength contained in crocus so small. Should winter challenge again, they simply refuse to die. Delicate blossoms possess such wherewithal, I cannot help but wonder then, should not likewise you and I?
The Hibiscus flower by Wendy Kay from All Poetry. Hibiscus flower, beauty so bright and fragrant, bringing hummingbirds from afar. Bees cannot resist colors so enticing, blossoms so large they overwhelm, causing creatures to give a stare. I wish you lasted every season. I would put you in my daily view. Hibiscus flower, beauty so bright and fragrant. Well, that concludes today's presentation. You might consider checking out our website, Adventures in History with Peter J. Ray, peterjray.com. So far, we've made 690 history videos in 7 areas: world history, American history, book reviews, poetic tours, Cleveland baseball, family history, and autobiography. There's a donate feature. You might consider making a donation so we can continue making these videos. If you live in Metro Manila, Philippines, and are looking for a high school, you might consider Restless Educational Center. Restless is located on Allenby Street, also known as the Inclined Plane in Barangay Maytunas, not far from the corner of P. Guevara and Wilson Street in San Juan, Metro Manila, Philippines. At Restless, we strive to be we're more than a school. We're a warm, supportive community, and we strive to be creative and innovative. And the website is restless.education. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Take care, and I'll see you next time.